5 empires crossed the Atlantic. They shared the same hunger for land, the same thirst for gold, and the same drive for dominance. Spain, Portugal, France, the Netherlands, Britain. On the surface, they fought the same war, but beneath the smoke and steel, they played entirely different games. One sought treasures, another sought trade. One sought souls, another sought systems. In the end, only one of them truly won the future. Let's start with Spain. Spain didn't just arrive first. They arrived with a blueprint for conquest. When the conquistadors landed, they didn't find wilderness. They found the Aztecs and the Incas, densely populated, hyper-organized civilizations. Spain didn't destroy these systems. They decapitated them and stepped into the throne. Through the encomienda and the mita, they turned entire nations into a massive mining machine. Silver flooded out of Potosi, a mountain of ore so rich it became the engine of the world. By 1600, Spanish silver didn't just pay for European wars, it was the global reserve currency, flowing all the way to the Ming Dynasty in China. But there was a fatal flaw. Spain treated the Americas like a mine, not a home. They used an extractive model. They banned local manufacturing to protect the crown's monopolies. Education was for the elite. Trade was a closed loop. Because the crown could simply dig money out of the ground, they never developed a middle class. High-level positions were reserved only for people born in Spain, creating a massive trust deficit. When the silver veins thinned and the Spanish Armada sank, the empire had no foundation. It didn't just decline, it shattered. Portugal followed a similar logic, staking it all on Brazil. At first, it was the green gold of sugar. Brazil became the largest producer of sugar on Earth, fueled by the brutal industrial-scale import of enslaved Africans. Later, the 18th century gold rush made Lisbon one of the wealthiest cities in Europe. But Portugal fell into the resource curse. They invested almost nothing in infrastructure. Power was a direct line back to the king. They actually discouraged education to keep the colony dependent. Brazil didn't even have a printing press until 1808, nearly 300 years after the Spanish established theirs in Mexico. Portugal wasn't building a nation, they were running a plantation. When Brazil declared independence, Portugal lost its engine overnight. France had the potential, but never the commitment. On a map, New France was staggering. From the frozen reaches of Quebec to the mouth of the Mississippi, they claimed the heart of a continent. But France treated the Americas as a trading zone, not a destination. King Louis XIV wanted an orderly colony, restricting immigration to Catholics and maintaining a feudal land system. Very few Frenchmen wanted to leave Europe to be a peasant for a new lord in the woods. While British colonies were bursting at the seams, the French population stayed tiny, mostly made of fur traders and missionaries. France had the land, but they didn't have the people. By 1763, the French-American dream was a ghost. The Netherlands played the smartest short-term game. The Dutch were merchants, not empire builders. They approached the Americas like a venture capitalist, creating the Dutch West India Company to treat colonization like a corporate merger. They founded New Amsterdam because it was a perfect harbor, and they introduced a radical idea: tolerance. They didn't care what god you prayed to, as long as your ledger was balanced. But the Dutch model was too corporate. They refused to invest in a standing army to defend land. They viewed the colony as a business asset. When the British Navy showed up, the merchants calculated it was cheaper to surrender and keep trading than to watch their warehouses burn. They won the bank, but they lost the map. Finally, there's Britain. Britain arrived late, they arrived poor, and they nearly starved. They got the leftover land with no gold and no massive native empires to tax. This was Britain's greatest blessing. Because the land was worthless in the short term, the British Crown allowed a period of salutary neglect. This allowed for the development of inclusive institutions. Unlike the French or Spanish, British settlers could own land outright, giving them an incentive to innovate. While Spain was extracting wealth, Britain was growing it. Puritans insisted that everyone learn to read, leading to the highest literacy rates in the world. Because London was so far away, colonies formed their own assemblies and learned to make their own laws. Britain didn't just extract, they exported a system. They created a society of self-sustaining capitalists. Even when Britain lost political control after the American Revolution, they didn't lose influence. Their language, legal system, and economic model remained. The former colonies became extensions of the British model, not rivals to it. So who won the Americas? Spain won the opening round. Portugal profited briefly. France hesitated. The Dutch traded efficiently. But Britain won the future. The great divergence between North and South America isn't about geography. It's about the operating system installed 400 years ago. One system was built to take, the other was built to grow. The real prize wasn't the gold in the ground, it was the institutions in the minds of the people. History teaches us that the empires that thrive aren't the ones that take the most. They are the ones that build the most.